Hey, this is Nathan with LS3 again. Today we're going to be going over the commercial access control and alarm user rights and permissions, and we're going to just do a quick dive into all of the various ways that we can manipulate users within a commercial access control alarm.com system. So let's jump right into it. So here's our office, just as the dashboard, just a quick top-down view of kind of like all the various things that are going on. But what we're looking at today is the user access section right here. From here you can actually see that there's our current users, and you can see across the top we've got quite a few options that maybe we're not used to seeing. Users, access plans, and then there's our logins that we're used to seeing for the mobile app. So let's start off with just adding a new user. So this is pretty common to the residential one. We're just going to do a test user. We're going to hit create. And then there's quite a few more options under here. When you click add a credential, our various systems here at the office either use a badge that you present at a door keypad or card reader. You can enter a PIN. This would be used for the alarm system for disarming, or it can also be used as a credential to enter the building using the access control if it is a keypad. And then there's the mobile credential. If you have a card reader that accepts mobile credentials, you can turn your phone itself into a credential that can be presented at one of those same readers. So for example, let's just start off with an access badge. Couple options here. You can enter the badge number. They're often just written on the back. But say you have an old fob that's being recycled and you want to recycle it and use it on someone else, you can do that, but I will show you that in just a second. For now, let's just say we can see the number on the back, and let's say it's 223344. Okay, we're going to assign this badge, and now this credential, this key fob, whatever it may be, is attached to this user. And let's go ahead and add a PIN so that they can disarm the alarm. So you can make it whatever you want. I'm just going to generate a code. Perfect. 5434. We're going to assign that PIN. And then say they wanted to do a mobile credential. You can automatically create the mobile credential by clicking continue. There's two options here. You can do it through SMS text or email. I recommend the SMS text one because it seems to be a bit more reliable. Sometimes the emails will go into spam folders, things like that. It just seems to be a little cleaner using the phone number. However, it prompted me here that I haven't created a phone number for this user, so it has nowhere to send it to. So we can add a phone number real quick. Let's just do 806-123-4567. I am sorry for anyone whose number that is. Let's just do USA, and then it asks for the actual carrier. We're going to use Verizon for this example. Let's hit save. Yeah, it says that's an invalid number. That makes sense. Let's see. Let's just see if it'll let us do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? Is that the right number of numbers? I think so. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send text invitation again. And so you see here it says mobile credential invite for this user was sent but not yet accepted. So at this point you would prompt whoever it is to check their text messages, and it will send them a little hyperlink to that text message. They can click on it. It will direct them to create an alarm.com account. And then as soon as they do that, it will turn and convert their mobile phone into a mobile credential. And as soon as they've accepted that and gotten to a certain point, this will change from saying that it has not been accepted to being accepted, and it will have a mobile credential here with a little check mark next to it. That's a good indication that they've done everything they need to on their end, and you're good to go. At that point, you would probably want to give them mobile access if they need it. because if not, the alarm.com app on their phone is literally just being used as a marker to turn their phone into an access control badge. And they don't have any further control over the system other than they can present their phone as a credential, but they don't have the ability to open the app and do anything of substance there. So, but this being said, we've got these various credentials added to this user, but this person does not have access to anything at this point. We have not managed their access, which is right here further down the list. We want this test to kind of have access to everything. We could add them to all access. And then here's actually a access and Berg 24/7. Let's just add them to this one and hit save. Okay. Once we've added them to the access plan, we're good to go. There's no save button. It kind of auto syncs. So let's just go back to this page here. And you can see here's our test. They belong to this access plan. So at a glance, you can kind of see what these users have access to. Let's go ahead and click on access plans, and we should be able to see, here's our access plan that we were just talking about. If we go to users, and there we are again. So there's two different ways that we can actually, here's a test from earlier that we added. There's two different ways to manipulate and add users to access plans. You can do it from the user itself as a one-off, but say you're doing a bunch of users, you're adding a bunch of people to the system, I would recommend just going through and adding all those users, getting all their pins in there, and then go to the access plans they belong to and just check the boxes next to them inside the access plans. If you're doing a bunch of bulk adding, that's the easier way to do it for sure. Because you can add all of those users to the plan at once. But now that we've checked users, let's look at access points. You can see that they have access to just about everything. We have a test door out there that they don't need access to, and then a deadbolt that we don't care about. But we just wanted to make sure that they have access to the alarm as well as any of the doors around the building. The other thing would be like the schedule. If we look at the schedule here, you can see right now it's set to all times. We want that, and you can see right here this checkbox, access plan never expires, meaning they always have access all the time. And then the only other thing that we didn't really touch on was the name and the icon. You can edit what this looks like by clicking on this. You could change it to a car, the color, and that's just for visibility and aesthetics there. So let's go ahead and add a new plan just to say we did, and to kind of give you a quick run through on how this is done. Let's make another door, and let's change it to orange here. So we're gonna call this one test access. Okay. One practice that I recommend doing is actually inside the name of the plan. I would recommend actually putting the time that you're going to attach in there. So if you're going to make it a 24/7 plan, I would put test access 24/7. Or if it's a normal employee 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, I might put that in there, employee Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Just because at a glance, I don't even have to jump into the schedule to see what times those people have access. I can look at just the name of the plan and know that. So highly recommend that. So let's go ahead and add our new test user to the test access. Well, heck, we'll add both of them and hit save. We've got an access point. Let's just do our test door for the sake of this, and we'll add the alarm on there as well. Hit save. And then let's make sure that they have a schedule in there. So we're going to add a schedule. See, if you wanted to make it all times, you could just check this. Or if you wanted to make it like a Monday through Friday, we just click on the day, and you can put 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Okay. And then you can even change it right here through Friday. Yep. So you notice how it wraps around if I do it this way. If you don't want it to do that and you actually want to just make it that interval, we're going to want to do Monday here, And then we can copy this to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Let's make sure Monday's on there, and Friday. And we're gonna save. So quick and easy. That's a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 schedule. We're gonna hit save and save. Okay, so if we scroll down, we should be able to see, here's our test access. Again, I'd recommend calling it Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 on the end of that. But you can see right here that there are 2 users of 23. The access plan includes the security panel and 1 lock. You can see scheduled access points, 1 of 6 doors, the panel, and then here's our timestamp. So at a glance, just looking at this, it kind of tells you everything that you need to know about it. But if you need more information about, like, you know, which users are attached to this, that's when you actually have to click in and review and see which ones are attached to it. But yeah, that was a quick guide on how to add an access plan. And then if you want to, say, remove this, you don't want this plan here anymore, we can just click on that and then just delete the plan out. And now anything that was associated with that plan, any users that had access through that plan, they no longer have access. You don't have to worry about them getting into the building. Another good practice would be to go into users, because that user is not deleted out. As you can see right here, this user still has access to that original plan, which is technically redundant because this is a 24/7. We're gonna click on that, and now I'm gonna delete the user out. So now that user for sure has 0 access because they're completely removed from the system. So good to double check and make sure that there's no extra access plans attached to that user, allowing them access when you otherwise don't want them to. The only other thing that we may want to touch on would be the logins. So you can see here there's a ton of logins that we have at our office, but if you wanted to add a new login, it's going to be very similar to the residential one. There's just a few extra options at the end that are a little bit different on the commercial versus residential. For example, let's go ahead and just do a test at lubbocks3.com. Okay. Again, you can change the login name. If you think you might have used your email on another alarm.com account or something like that, you can make this whatever you want it to be. The only thing that you have to have in there is a valid email address that you can receive. And to answer your question, if you can use the same one for multiple alarm.com accounts, yes, you can. You can use the same email. You cannot use the same login name. So, but you could technically set up as many accounts as you want using that same email, getting the verification email to the same one every time. So at the top, you can see an email was sent to that email. So it's very hands-off. That person will get an email, they can click the link, create their own username and password, and then all you're dictating from here is what kind of control they have. This being an access control and alarm and just a bunch of different systems that are incorporated into this alarm.com account, there are a ton of different options in here under the custom section. So, you know, you could go under there and check, you know, everything under the sun that you want them to be able to do, or if you're kind of, I don't care, I just want them to be able to see if the alarm is armed. I don't want them to have any control. That would be read only, or you can do full control. And then that kind of gives them, you know, every right that the mastered has, except for removing master users and some of the higher levels of security on the account. But yeah, full control, they can pretty much be a manager. They can do anything they need to do. But if you really need to get in there into the nitty gritty, you can check custom and really refine what that person can do if you need that. And then when you're done, you just hit save. And if you go to the bottom, there's our test at lubbocks3. But say I don't want that person to have access down the road, we have some turnover or anything like that, you can come in here, you can click the delete button, kill that user, and then they no longer have the ability to use the mobile app to access the system. So simple as that. If you guys have any further questions, we're going to have, you know, a bunch of other tutorials on our website. But if you don't see something you're trying to do specific, always call us at our main number and we'd be happy to help. Thanks.